all, welcome to my channel Semper Astra. My name is Maggie and in today's video I will summarize second year of independent work with my guide dog Wilma. Wilma and we completed our training on the 30th of May 2024. So this week we celebrate second anniversary of completing the training and starting our independent work together. As always, at the beginning of this video, I would like to emphasize that I am not a guide dog trainer and I am just a blind person who have been walking with the help of the guide dog for over the last 20 years and who enjoys sharing her own experiences. For those of you who may be visiting my YouTube channel for the first time, just for the context, I wanted to mention that I permanently live in the UK and that my guide dog Wilma was trained by British Guide Dog School. Before I move on to discussing the main topic of today's video, I would love to mention that I will be very, very grateful for all of your subscriptions, comments, and likes. It is thanks to your support that I may continue developing this YouTube channel and that my videos reach those people who may find my content interesting and helpful. The first point that I wanted to discuss today is the fact that as soon as I cross this magical line of completing my first year of independent work with my guide dog Wilma, the level of anxiety and the level of stress significantly dropped. And this is because from my personal experiences and from the knowledge that I gained through my guide dog trainings, I am aware of the fact that the highest risk of something going wrong or on facing obstacles that are impossible to overcome occurs during the first year of independent work with the guide dog. And in the later years, this risk is much lower. So, for example, the risk of the teamwork collapsing and being irreparable drops, or the risk of the fact that the guide dog may be withdrawn from their work prematurely also drops. Naturally, it is still very important to follow all of the guidelines and all of the rules very consequently, but about this I will talk in the later parts of this video. The second point that I wanted to discuss today is the fact that I feel that right from the beginning of the second year of my independent work with Wilma, our mutual trust achieved the really, really high level. I think that it is actually optimal, ideal level for our partnership. And also our work from technical point of view also achieved a really high level. And thanks to this, whenever I need to walk out of my house, it is no longer a chore. It's not longer that I only leave the house when I have to run some errands or when I have to do something. Now, leaving the home is pleasure, and walking with Wilma is very enjoyable. Thanks to the fact that I don't have to put so much work and effort to every step that I take, and thanks to the fact that I don't have to be anxious about every step that I take, I may enjoy just walking, smelling the beautiful scents of blooming flowers now, especially in spring, listening to all of the sounds. And for example, I live just by the seaside, so I hear waves from the sea, seagulls, and other beautiful sounds. What is more, even if we run to the situation that is stressful, that is difficult, thanks to the fact that I trust Wilma and that we have very good working relationship and that our work is good, even in this difficult situation, my stress doesn't increase and my anxiety doesn't increase. And I will give you an example of situation like that. So about 3 weeks ago, I was in town and I wanted to go to a shopping mall. And just outside of this shopping mall, there is like a big open square. And that day, on this big open square, there were many kids attractions set up. There were many food trucks. There was music playing, lots of people walking about. And between the place where I was and between the door, the main door to the shopping mall, there was many people and other obstacles. And usually when it's quieter, I give Wilma very precise directions which way to go. But on this occasion, I had to rely on Wilma to find the way around this obstacle. So I only asked her to find the main door, and she worked out what would be the best way to walk around all of these obstacles, and she did find the main door without much input from myself. The third point that I wanted to discuss today is linked with the fact that thankfully over the second year of our independent work together, all of the medical and health difficulties that occurred after Wilma completed her training with me were successfully resolved. So before I had my guide dogs, I believed that most of the chronic health problems occurs in dogs when they're puppies. But now I understand that chronic health conditions may occur in dog at any point. And unfortunately, about 3 months after Wilma completed her training with me, it became apparent that she suffers from some chronic allergies which didn't occur and which were not apparent before she completed her training when she was a puppy. But luckily, with the help of some tests, we found medication that keeps Wilma's symptoms totally under control. So she needs to continue taking medication, but she doesn't suffer from any symptoms. She's totally comfortable and she has full quality of life, thanks to which she can safely and comfortably continue her work as a guide dog. What is more, about 6 months after Wilma completed her training with me, we noticed that she struggles from time to time with some problems with her bladder. So on few occasions, Wilma had an accident and she basically had a wee where she shouldn't have a wee. Most of these incidences, luckily for me, happened when Wilma was with somebody else, not with me. But it was still very worrying because my previous guide dogs didn't have this problem and I never heard about the guide dog who would have the problem like that. Luckily, again, we managed to diagnose the problem correctly and the problem is resolved for now totally, but I also know what early signs to look out for, what tests need to be repeated regularly, and how to treat this problem if it ever occurred in the future, but I hope that it never will. The fourth point that I would like to discuss today is linked with some challenges for me. And this is about the fact that more time passes after completing the training, more tempted I get to start cutting some corners and to kind of basically be a little bit more relaxed about some rules. However, from my previous experiences and from other people's experiences and from everything that I have learned throughout my trainings, I know that this is a really, really bad idea. And this is why I put a lot of effort into ensuring that I don't cut any corners and that I follow all of the rules very diligently. And as soon as I notice that I start developing some bad habits, I try to correct myself, and I also ask for support, guidebook school, and also every year we receive a visit from guidebook school, so the trainers are also able to give me feedback and support me with ensuring that the standard of my work with Wilma is the way it should be. So this is like hard work, but this is work which will definitely pay off in the long run. The fifth point that I wanted to discuss today is about the fact that although I believe at the moment that Wilma is an ideal guide dog, and although I am already very happy with our work together, Wilma is still very eager to continue learning new things, and she still can learn new things very fast and easily. So, for example, we continue learning more and more new routes, and Wilma continues to learn more and more things that are useful to us in our daily life. And when I am talking about learning routes, I mean that the routes that we practiced on many occasions become much easier for us, and in the way we can be like totally relaxed on them. However, at this point, I also want to make it very clear that Wilma is also very capable of working very well in the areas that are totally unfamiliar for her. And this skill is very useful to me because I frequently go to places that are totally new to me and that I am not very familiar with or not familiar at all with. The sixth point that I wanted to mention is all about challenges that we still have ahead of us. So although we completed our training 2 years ago, there are still challenges that we have to face and resolve. And one of them is linked with regulations about traveling abroad from the UK. So sadly, since we left the European Union, our pet passports are not valid anymore. And to be able to travel abroad, we have to complete a lot of paperwork, do additional tests, and also some cost is involved there. And when I worked with my previous guide dogs, my first guide dog Ingmar and my second guide dog Bob, traveling abroad was part of our daily life, and I want the same for Wilma and I. So in the near future, I am planning to complete all of this paperwork. I am planning to complete all of these tests and everything that has to be completed from the veterinary point of view. And I am hoping that in the near future, Wilma and I, we will take our first flight together, that we will visit Poland, which is my home country, together for the first time, and that we will start traveling more abroad together. Thank you for watching this video today. I hope that some of the points were may be interesting or useful to you. If you already are on your journey of working with your guide dog, I wish you all the best. And if you are considering getting a guide dog in the future and trying to work with the guide dog in the future, I wish you a lot of support, a lot of courage, a lot of strength, and a lot of positivity. It is honestly worth trying. Thank you for watching today again, and I will see you soon in my future videos. Thank you. Bye bye.